is up, everyone, and welcome back for another video on the Shawn Bailey Fit channel. I definitely appreciate you coming back here again. We are here this time for part 2 of myth versus fact. Now, I did get a lot of good feedback on the first round, and I think that is because so many people hear a lot of different things about fitness and the fitness world, but we never really know what's true and what is not. And that is exactly what this channel is all about, making sure you are doing all the things that you need to make progress towards your goal. We want to make sure that you are being smart and efficient so that you can get the best progress that you most definitely deserve. So without further ado, we got 5 new myths that I'm going to go over here for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with myth number 1, you should always stretch before any workout. Warming up is very important before you do any workout, and it really gets your muscles going and gets them prepared for that workout you're about to do. But the main debate has always been whether you should stretch before your workout, after your workout, or even before and after a workout. But the truth is, most people are always taught about static stretching. And static stretching is pretty much just holding in one position and stretching your muscles for a set amount of time. An example of that would be when you reach down to touch your toes and hold that position for 15 seconds. This type of stretching should only be done after your workout. The effects of static stretching is that it really loosens up your muscles and really helps with the elasticity of those. Ultimately, that is really getting your muscles a lot more relaxed, but that's not exactly what you want to start a workout. You really want to get those muscles nice and warm and really get them moving. Just thinking about it. When you sit down and you lay on the couch for a really long time, you get really relaxed. But if you jump up and stand up too fast, that never really works out too well. Now, some light static stretching is okay, especially if your muscles are already a little sore or tight, but you don't want to do too much of it. The best thing for a warm-up is to do some light jogging or some dynamic stretching. Now, that is a type of stretching where you're doing active movements that are going to ultimately mimic the workout you're about to do. So you're really getting your muscles and your range of motion prepared for the exact exercise you're about to do. So the misconception isn't necessarily that you should always stretch before the workout, but without a doubt, you should always warm up. But static stretching should always be done after your workout, not before. Moving on to our next myth, not getting enough sleep will slow down progress. I think we have all felt the effects of not getting enough sleep and then trying to do any sort of function throughout the day. It never really turns out too well. So lacking enough sleep is going to have both direct and indirect effects on making progress. One of the biggest indirect effects is going to be lack of motivation and energy. Just think about it. Whenever you don't get enough sleep that night, the next day, do you really feel like doing anything, let alone actually going to the gym or working out? As a direct effect, our brain just does not function well from sleep deprivation. When it lacks a good amount of sleep, it just will not perform at the highest level that it can. Now, some studies have shown that a lack of sleep or sleep deprivation does lead to an increase of a hormone called ghrelin. Now, ghrelin is ultimately getting a trigger feeling of hunger, which of course we know is going to lead to overeating and eating when you really aren't hungry. You're just getting that trigger of feeling like you're hungry. So we definitely want to avoid an increase in that hormone because we know that overeating is going to slow down progress and even take it in the wrong direction for most people. So make sure you are getting enough sleep. Moving on to myth number 3, you can eat all the fruit you want because it is natural sugar. Now, there is no doubt that fruit is good for you and we should all be adding it into our daily intake. And it also is very true that natural sugar is much better than artificial sugar. But that doesn't mean you can just eat all the fruit that you want. Now, I won't get too much into this one because I did just provide you my video on carbs, and we all know that fruits are a part of carbs. So if you want to get more into that, be sure to check out that video. But as I said in that video, fruits are very beneficial and can provide a lot of great things that your body needs. But on the other hand, fruits still provide sugar. And no matter how you look at it and what type of sugar it is, sugar is sugar. So even though you're consuming natural sugars, with too much consumption, it can still lead to some of those negative effects. Some of those being things such as weight gain, dental problems, or even more risk for heart disease and diabetes. So definitely eat your fruits, but just don't overconsume. Because whether it's good food or bad food, no matter what, once you overconsume, it all is bad. So keep it in moderation. On to myth number 4, deep squats are bad for your knees. When considering a deep squat, this is pretty much the motion of a regular squat, but pushing your knees past that 90-degree angle, or essentially getting your butt as close to the floor as possible. There are things about deep squats that can relate to knee problems, but unfortunately, the actual action is not the problem. The main problem that causes those knee issues is more of too heavy of weight or the lack of flexibility in your muscles. Most people can do a normal squat without having any sort of issue or pain in their knees, and that is because our daily functions really relate to a squatting motion. Now, we sit down, we stand up. We kneel down to tie our shoes, or we kneel down to pick up something. These mimic those same motions of a squat, so our bodies are naturally just used to that motion without us actually even realizing we're doing it. But really just think about it. When do you do any motion of a deep squat throughout the day? It never really happens. So your body is not as well prepared for that motion. So the idea, or even the true fact of when you have knee problems from deep squats, comes from our lack of range of motion, because we just don't simply do that motion on a regular basis. As well as when you add extra weight to it, that's just more stress on your knees and your body, which is going to cause more problems. Just like anything, you need to progress into it. You can't just jump into doing a deep squat if that's just something your body is not used to. So one of those ways to try to get yourself prepared for that is just going through normal body weight squats and really doing that deep motion so that your body can get that full range of motion and then progress your way into it. You definitely don't want to go ahead and just do normal squats for months or years or however long it is, and then try to do that exact same weight in deep squats, because your body is just not prepared for the same motion. So another good thing for that will be stretching, because your body, like I said, is just not used to that range of motion because we don't do it on a regular basis. So if you really do a good amount of stretching, that is really going to prepare your body for that motion. And eventually it'll be all full ready to go with that technique so that you can start to add weight and you will avoid those knee problems. Moving on to our 5th and final myth, running long distances is essential for getting into shape. This tends to be one of the biggest things people think about when they are first starting any sort of exercise program. I mean, think about it. You look at any huge chain gym that you would go to, they have an abundance of treadmills and ellipticals, but if you look in the free weights or machines areas, some of those are very limited. Of course, look at any long distance runner. All of them tend to be very lean, but that is not the only way to get lean. But if your goal is to run a 5K or to run some long distances on a regular basis, then yes, of course, you need to run long distances to prepare yourself for the long distance. But if your main goal is just to get into shape or to lose weight or just sort of tone or shape your body, then running long distances is not a requirement. I have said it plenty of times. If you want to lose weight or burn fat, then you have to burn calories. While running long distances is good for burning calories, the more you do it, the more your body becomes accustomed to it. And that means the less calories you are going to burn. So even though running long distances is good for your cardiovascular health, it is not necessary for all fitness goals. So unless you are looking to become a long distance runner, I wouldn't set too much focus on running long distances. So there are 5 new myths for you that I was able to shed a little bit of light on for you. If you want to know more about some of those myths or even some alternatives to those, feel free to reach out to me directly. Also, you can comment here below, and definitely be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And of course, for more tips, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Shawn Bailey Fit as I show you and go through some of my own daily routines. Thank you for watching this video once again, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.